I'm very proud to announce that the winner of the 2009 Australian Skeptics Bent Spoon Award is Meryl Dorey and the Anglican. Meryl, would you like to come forward and accept your award? No, she can't be here tonight. So Richard will accept it on her behalf.
No, I won't.
Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason. Here are your hosts, Richard Saunders and Stefan Soika.
Well, Richard, what a great event that was.
Hey, Stefan, welcome to the Skeptic Zone, episode number 59 already for the 4th of December. Yeah, that was Dr. Rachie announcing the bent spoon at our big convention.
Yeah, up in Brisbane.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was called Skepticon, and there were lots of people there. Dr. Carl Kruzeniski was there, apart from many others.
Oh, he's a bit of a legend.
He's a bit of a legend.
Do people know Dr. Carl in America and overseas?
A lot of people do.
Is he a local dude?
Yeah. He does BBC every week as well.
Oh.
So he's quite well known in the UK. But I tell you what, and the big news, of course, and we'll be sort of discussing this for the next year, is that he will be appearing amongst many other people at TAM Australia.
Oh, the massive meeting.
The amazing meeting. It should be called the massive meeting, but it's the amazing meeting.
TMMMAM.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, in conjunction with the James Randi Educational Foundation, we are going to be doing the Amazing Meeting Australia. That's the 26th to the 28th of November 2010 in Sydney.
I've got it in my diary and everything, and it's in that crazy-looking building, isn't it? The Masonic Lodge.
The Masonic Lodge, but it's a fantastic auditorium. It's really great. It's right downtown, near Chinatown, near all sorts of transport, near lots of hotels. Fantastic.
Oh, it's really good. Hey, Richard, is there a homeopathic alcohol?
Homeopathic alcohol?
I'm thinking of switching to homeopathic alcohol.
Oh, you had a big night, did you?
Yeah. Well, it's the silly season, and I do in my spare time. I do a bit of music, and every night's a party. It's just crazy. So I'm looking for a nice homeopathic alcohol that I can switch to.
Yeah, they call it water.
Oh, I should have stuck to that. Anyway, but let's get on with the show, shall we?
We will. This show is dedicated to the convention up in Brisbane, so we've got lots of little interviews with people, our adventures along the way, bits of chat here and there.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, we're going to kick off, before all that starts, we're going to kick off with our friends from the Merseyside Skeptic Society in the UK. Ooh. Our good friend Michael Marshall sent me a little audio clip. They've made an open letter to the Boots line of pharmacies in the UK asking them not to sell, as you were saying, homeopathy.
Homeopathic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because I know chemists and pharmacies are really going a bit overboard, aren't they? Some of the stuff you can buy there now, it's completely non-medical at all.
It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, those people who are downloading this show on Saturday here in Australia, Dr. Rachie and myself will be on Radio 2GB at 10:30 on Saturday night.
You are getting out and about, aren't you, Richard?
We are. You can tune in at www.2gb.com.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get on with the show. Let's catch the ferry across the Mersey and get on with it.
Okay, I'll see you at the end.
All righty.
An open letter to Alliance Boots. The Boots brand is synonymous with healthcare in the United Kingdom. Your website speaks proudly about your role as a healthcare provider and your commitment to deliver exceptional patient care. For many people, you are their first resource for medical advice and their chosen dispensary for prescription and non-prescription medicines. The British public trusts Boots. However, in evidence given recently to the Commons Science and Technology Committee, you admitted that you do not believe homeopathy to be efficacious. Despite this, homeopathic products are offered for sale in Boots pharmacies, many of them bearing the trusted Boots brand. Not only is this 200-year-old pseudotherapy implausible, it is scientifically absurd. The purported mechanisms of action fly in the face of our understanding of chemistry, physics, pharmacology and physiology. As you're aware, the best and most rigorous scientific research concludes that homeopathy offers no therapeutic effect beyond placebo, but you continue to sell these products regardless because customers believe they work. Is this the standard you set for yourselves? The majority of people do not have the time or inclination to check whether scientific literature supports the claims of efficacy made by products such as homeopathy. We trust brands such as Boots to check the facts for us, to provide sound medical advice that's in our interest, and supply only those products with a demonstrable medical benefit. We don't expect to find products on the shelf at our local pharmacy which do not work. And not only are these products ineffective, they can also be dangerous. Patients may delay seeking proper medical assistance because they believe homeopathy can treat their condition. Until recently, the Boots website even went so far as to tell patients that after taking a homeopathic medicine, your symptoms may become slightly worse, and that this is a sign that the body's natural energies have started to counteract the illness. Advice such as this directly encourages patients to wait before seeking real medical attention, even when their condition deteriorates. We call upon Boots to withdraw all homeopathic products from your shelves. You should not be involved in the sale of ineffective products because your customers trust you to do what is right for their health. Surely you agree that your commitment to excellent patient care is better served by supplying only those products whose claims can be substantiated by rigorous scientific research? Or do you really believe that Boots should be in the business of selling placebos to the sick and the injured? The support lent by Boots to this quack therapy contributes directly to its acceptance as a valid medical treatment by the British public, acceptance it doesn't warrant and support it does not deserve. Please do the right thing and remove this bogus therapy from your shelves. Yours sincerely, Merseyside Skeptic Society.
BrisSkepticon 2009, otherwise known as the Australian Skeptics National Convention, was held from the 27th to the 29th of November 2009 in Brisbane, sunny Queensland, Australia. Dr. Rachie and I, together with some skeptics in Sydney, headed up for this wonderful event.
Guests travelling to Melbourne on DJ 842, our scheduled 1:15 service. You had a gate change to gate number 34.
I think she's finished.
Oh my gosh. So basically the plane's late. That's it.
That's what it said. The plane is late. But we're off to Brisbane, Dr. Rachie, for...
Yes, we are.
BrisSkepticon.
BrisSkepticon, yes.
BrisSkepticon.
Yeah, well, it's our annual convention, Richard, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
This year we're heading to sunny Brisbane and we're going to hear the likes of Dr. Carl.
Yes.
Kruzalniski.
Yes.
Me.
You're speaking, of course.
And some other people.
Loretta Marin. Chrissy Wilson.
Yeah,
looking forward to it. Peter Ellerton. Lots of good famous people. But the big news, of course, and this will be coming up on the podcast, is the announcement of TAM Australia.
Yeah. How exciting.
That is very exciting.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this will be a very last page for Ms. Melanie Sullivan. If you are in the terminal, please make your way immediately through to gate lounge 33. Your aircraft is fully boarded and prepared for immediate departure.
How embarrassing for her to be called out.
What a numpty. Just get on the plane.
Well, here we are, flying over the central coast of New South Wales, having just left Sydney, and it looks beautiful down there. Lots of beaches and houses and waterways and inlets.
It's quite beautiful, isn't it, Richard? Yeah. The water sort of bit.
Well, Dr. Rachie's actually beside herself because there's on the airline today we have the food channel.
Yes.
As we call it, the nomming channel.
We call it the nomming channel, the food channel. Richard's just swiped his credit card very kindly for me so I can watch the nomming channel on the way to the convention.
Our reporter Kylie Sturgess was also on the scene with her recorder, so I'll let her take over now and let's see what she recorded.
Here with Dr. Rachie of Dr. Rachie Reports, and Joel is yelling at the young Australian skeptics about the noms that we're all collecting in the special bags, and Rachie is putting something onto her own bag. What is that, Rachie?
It's the Young Australian Skeptics badge.
Yes.
Designed by Catherine Donaldson, and I'm just adding it to my collection on my bag. I've got the Australian Skeptics, I've got Dragon Con and the Skeptic Zone and now Young Australian Skeptics too.
I'm going to have to give you one for 4.Dec.2009, which Catherine also designed for me.
You've got some now as well.
I have, lots of little kitties. So we're going to have to get one for the Skeptics book, make up a special logo and get it out there.
Could come up with something. We'd have to ask Amanda because she's also a part of that blog.
Yeah, and we miss Amanda Rose. She's normally part of our think tank.
I've seen Amanda for a while, but she moved jobs and she's moved house, so she's been busy, so yeah.
People can catch her on an earlier episode where she and Richard went off to the races, in fact, and they went and checked out the Melbourne Cup.
Melbourne Cup, yes, where they won, I think, in total nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely
nothing.
Yeah. But at least they didn't use any superstitions in order to place a bet, I guess.
Yes, I think. Actually, I heard that podcast when I was catching a train to Fort Lauderdale to go to Carl Sagan Day. So I remember exactly where I was when they were at the Melbourne Cup celebrations.
It's funny how many journeys I take in my car or on the airplane, how many podcasts I end up catching. It's usually our own podcasts, and I can find out what we're up to. Yeah.
It's hard to keep up these days because there are so many great podcasts out there that you need to have a long journey or a long trip. Yes, Kylie is actually wearing a geologic podcast. Well, no, it's geologicrecords.net. Think for yourself.
Absolutely. So that's another podcast that I in fact downloaded today. Yeah.
It's a really good podcast. I love Geo's podcast.
Yeah. And we are looking forward to more Young Australian Skeptics podcasts. I believe that the pseudoscientists are on a break at the moment, but you'll be returning next year stronger and more powerful, more people, more opportunities for people to get networking. Jack is munching furiously in order to clear his mouth so he can say, why, yes, indeed, that is what's going to be happening.
Why, yes, indeed, that's what's going to be happening.
Yes, we love the Young Australian Skeptics podcast, especially if we can make them choke after eating a whole pile of lollies and then asking them a question whilst they're trying to nom.
Well, I have to maintain my image as the youngest person here. I have to eat all the lollies before everyone else. I'm not going to be drinking any of the copious amounts of beer that have been displayed before me.
That's okay. You and I will be the only sober people making sure everyone staggers into the book launch, which we're all looking forward to.
Yes.
Yes, and that's going to be Martin Brigstock's book. I saw that Jason had a copy of it earlier.
I don't think it's Jason's copy. We were just posing with it and having a look. Probably going to buy some for the people back home. Need some souvenirs from Brisbane.
It's called Beyond Belief, and that's what we're all here for at the moment. I'm hoping to see Martin Brigstock sign a few copies, tell us all about it downstairs.
Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it, absolutely. My goodness me, the numbers are just starting to grow immensely here. Hi, Richard.
Kylie, hello. You and your fuzzy little tribble.
Yes, it's my windsock tribble for my...
I love it.
My Zoom H4.
I'm jealous now. I love this. It's great.
I'm going to have to see about getting you one too. I got this off eBay.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
For those people who are wondering what the hell we're talking about, Kylie has got a wonderful windsock sort of a device on her microphone, so we don't get any of that horrible...
it's not a windsock, it's a Muppet.
It's a Muppet.
It looks like a Muppet, a tribble.
Yes, it's an outtake from Avenue Q.
Yes, it's a tribble.
Yes, I am a trouble with a tribble, that's what I am, and I'm talking to Richard Saunders. How are you? You're not unwell, you're looking really healthy and really
I'm almost better, yeah. I mean, my listeners might have noticed that the last few podcasts I was not sounding 100%, but I'm nearly better. I had a little chest infection, but no, all's good.
And you're going to be, in fact, recording a significant amount of the conference.
Yeah, in fact, I'm videoing almost every moment of the conference. Not the social moments, but the speakers, yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many people turning up. We have got Dr. Carl himself, the fabulous Dr. Chrissy Wilson.
Oh, yes. I can't wait to meet Chrissy again. Always have a good time with Chrissy.
Yep. We have Martin Brigstock, whose book is being launched.
In 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
My burger better get here quick.
Oh, my God. You're meant to be eating and running.
Yes.
Welcome to the life of the Australian Skeptical Podcasters, where we just eat, nom, and run for the next
Barry
event.
Williams himself will be talking.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So a big lineup.
So really looking forward to it all.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. Well, I'm here.
Yay! I'm here with Margaret. Margaret, tell us all about yourself. Everyone's picking on my tribble. Yes, indeed. It is a tribble on the top of my recording device.
Only the one.
Yes.
Only the one.
I know, but I am a trouble with a tribble, Margaret Kitson.
Are you?
Yes.
Trials and tribulations.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us about the convention. You are indeed the guiding force behind what's going on.
I was the silly person that last year in April put up my hand at Wagga and said, okay, I'll do the next convention.
It is looking wonderful so far. Really beautiful.
Yeah.
This is a great venue.
Now, Kylie, even though you're interviewing me, is this your first time at University of Queensland campus?
It is.
And it's a beautiful campus, isn't it?
It is gorgeous.
Yes, so whereabouts are you staying?
I am actually staying on campus. I'm at Duchesne College.
Oh, you're
around the
at
corner.
Duchesne.
Yeah.
And you've even pronounced it the right way. Well done.
Yay! I'm becoming a local already.
That wrong. Anyway, I better keep moving.
You got to keep moving. We're looking forward to seeing how it goes. Thanks. Richard was flying over here and he flew over somewhere special.
Yeah, we flew over Bangalow, right? There it is, the moment we were flying near Bangalow. And I turned to Rachie and I said, look, we're flying over Bangalow. Did you drop something?
What is Richard showing? Oh my God, it's a picture of Rachel in utter incoherence.
It's a picture of Rachel thinking about Meryl Dory.
And I said, Bangalow's just down there, and she went...
Sending bad vibes.
Sending bad vibes, yes.
Oh my goodness gracious.
One of the attendees of Skepticon was Gold, who is single-handedly setting up a number of skeptics in the pub all across New Zealand.
It was largely due to you that I ended up going to the Auckland Skeptics in the pub in the first place, and you have just been going on and on and on. How do you do it, and what does it involve?
Okay, the Skeptics in the pub in New Zealand originally started with a group in Christchurch, because that's where I live. I was using a service called meetup.com, and they have a paid-for system for organising gatherings. It's... Okay, disclaimer, I am not associated with the company at all.
That's okay, neither am I, but many of us skeptics here in Australia also use it. It's seemed to become a bit of an international phenomenon, drawing upon meetup.com. So that seems to be a very useful tool. What else happened?
Okay, after I started up the Christchurch one, and I got in touch with Vicky Hyde, who runs the New Zealand Skeptics Incorporated, which is the recognised New Zealand Skeptical Society. And she posted it out to her, well, the mail list that they manage. And I also found the New Zealand Skeptics Yahoo group and posted it out to there. And between meetup.com, the New Zealand Skeptics and the Yahoo group, we got 25 to 30 people show up to the first Christchurch Skeptics in the pub. An excellent number. It blew my mind.
It's beyond excellent. It's wonderful.
It was way more than I expected. And from there, it sort of tailed off just slightly. But the Christchurch Skeptics now run fortnightly meetings. We don't get numbers nearly that high, but we get probably 10 to 20 people per fortnightly meetup. And the people that show up on a monthly basis are regular. On a fortnightly basis, we have a small group that regularly show up, and we have a larger group that show up every month, whether that's on a Monday or a Tuesday. After getting Christchurch up and running, I got Auckland up and running, and that's the one that Kylie came to.
Yes, it was brilliant. Absolutely wonderful venue and wonderful people there.
We had about 50-odd people, I think, show up to the first one in Auckland, and I'm pleased to say that I was there, which was the first time I met Kylie, which was a pleasure. And where do we go from there? The next one after Auckland was Wellington, and we ran that one around at the same time as the New Zealand Skeptics Conference. So we got 15 to 20 people show up to the first Wellington Skeptics in the pub, and at the end of the conference we ran a very impromptu Skeptics in the pub after the conference, and we had 15 to 20 people show up there. And from that, which due to poor timing and poor management, we didn't get as many people as we could have, but we got a lot of conference goers, and a reasonable number of them were from Wellington, and the Wellington membership of the meetup group jumped by probably 30 to 50%.
So you're grabbing opportunities that are out there building more numbers over time. For those people who might not be aware of New Zealand, it's actually 2 different islands. So you're hopping from the North Island and the South Island in order to build up opportunities for people to get together.
Yeah, pretty much.
So let me see. Auckland's the North Island, and it's Wellington and...
Auckland and Wellington are in the North Island, and Christchurch and Dunedin, which is the latest Skeptics in the Pub group in New Zealand, are both South Island groups. And I'm pleased to say that I managed to get to the Dunedin one as well.
Yes.
And I have recently had interest from a guy in Nelson. That's also on the South Island. I've suggested that he get in touch with the Yahoo group, skepticsinthepub.net.nz, which is the website that everything is run from. We've got a number of meetup sites, but the site that you want to go to is skepticsinthepub.net.nz. And from there you'll be able to find all of the existing meetup sites. They're all right there on the front page, and everything's run from there.
Brilliant.
So if you're in New Zealand and you're a skeptic and you're listening to this right now, why have you not yet registered?
You better register, because I've already done one and it was bloody fantastic. And that's saying it is in Australia.
On the Friday night of the convention, Dr. Martin Brigstock launched his book, Beyond Belief: Skepticism, Science and the Paranormal. It's an evidence-based approach to the paranormal, drawing upon various studies and investigations, including the research that you can hear both Kylie and Martin present in episode 47 of the Skeptic Zone. Published by Cambridge University Press, you can find it online and at Inbiggin Books, who were the Brisbane bookstore featured at BrisSkepticon.
You see, this convention is being held on an anniversary of an important event here in Queensland, and I suspect that nobody quite knows what that anniversary is. I had to do something which rather embarrasses me. For some reason, I keep diaries going back decades. They're just brief mentions of the things I did. Here's my 1984 diary, and here's my 1985 diary. And going through those, I find that pretty well 25 years ago, the Queensland Skeptics began to get involved with creation science. Now, 25 years ago, we had a fundamentalist Minister of Education who was beginning the process of forcing creation science, that is a literal account of the book of Genesis, into science studies here in this state, in our state school system. And it was pretty well 25 years ago this month that the Australian Skeptics in Queensland, a tiny little group, got together and began to say, we ought to do something about this. This is quite alarming that an extreme religious view can be forced into science studies in our state schools. And that meeting of the Queensland Skeptics then decided to hold a very large meeting to which large numbers of people were invited. And it was in fact held on this campus in the Abel Smith Theatre, which is just a few hundred metres from here. And that meeting took place in March 1985, and about 360 people turned up. It was a very large audience, and they heard 5 speakers attack creation science from all different angles, from the point of view of theology, from the point of view of mathematics, from the point of view of biology, and many others. And at the end of the session, there was thunderous applause from nearly all the people. And that marked the beginning of the Australian Skeptics campaign in Queensland to stop creation science being taught in the science syllabus in our schools. It took about a year of very hard fighting, but at the end of that time, the Queensland government backed off, and creationism was never taught in Queensland state schools. So that's a very important victory, in my opinion. We ought to remember these victories, because it's so easy, as younger skeptics come in, it's so easy not to know about what's happened in the past. And yet right here, there was, 25 years ago, the beginning of a very successful battle.
Certainly for me, one of the highlights of the convention was the dinner awards. As you heard earlier in the show, the bent spoon went to Merrill Dory of the Australian Vaccination Network. We announced TAM Australia, which was very exciting. And we also announced the first Fred Award. I'll let Iran Sergeyev, the president of Australian Skeptics and one of our reporters, take over now.
stand here today to present the inaugural Thornett Award for the Promotion of Reason, an award which we hope will become known in true awards fashion as the Fred.
Hey!
But before I speak about the award, I want to say a few words about Fred. Fred had led a rich life. He had lived in several places around Australia before making his home in Hobart. He served in the military. He was the Justice of the Peace. He had been a civil servant for many years. And even after he retired, he continued to serve as a magistrate and a member of a mental health tribunal. He travelled the world and brought a bit of the world back to Hobart with him. He was a family man and a proud father to Angus and Claire. He was a man of broad knowledge and an even broader range of opinions. And he was a skeptic. Fred was the secretary of Tasmanian Skeptics for many years and was the convener of the 2007 National Convention in Hobart, which was widely acclaimed as a great success. It is through his involvement with the skeptical movement that many of us came to know Fred, and many of us considered him to be a dear friend. As Barry said in his eulogy of Fred, yes, he could be formal when the occasion demanded, but he was also funny, iconoclastic, irreverent, practical, thoughtful, cheerful, pedantic, tolerant, honourable and loyal. All the things you need in a true friend. Fred died in April this year, and his family and his many friends miss him dearly. It was therefore almost natural that calls for doing something to commemorate him came from several different people from various states and without any coordination. After some discussion, it was decided to establish the Thornett Award for the Promotion of Reason, which will be awarded to a member of the public or a public figure who has made a significant contribution to educating or informing the public regarding issues of science and reason. As part of the award, $1,000 will be awarded to the recipient or to a charity or cause of their choice. It is fitting that the inaugural Fred should be awarded by Ludmilla Thornett, who's with us tonight. And it is also fitting that it should be awarded today on Fred's 71st birthday. Luda, would you like to join me, please? The inaugural Fred is awarded to Tony and David McCaffrey in recognition of their relentless and brave campaign to ensure parents are provided with credible information regarding vaccines and the dangers that await those who choose not to vaccinate. Tony and David have been doing this after having lost their daughter Dana to whooping cough, circumstances that would be trying even without the additional stress of dealing with those who try to spread fear and misinformation. And we are unanimous in our respect for their effort and achievements. I'd like to ask Luda to present the first Thornett Award for the promotion of reason to Tony and David McCaffrey.
Good evening, everyone. Firstly, we've really done whatever we've done for our community. It's really important to us. We stood above our daughter's grave the day after she died, and we had media chasing us and all sorts of things going through our minds, and we thought this was an important issue that people needed to find out about, and we didn't know anything about it until the day our daughter died, and we were sitting in the ICU and they said, there's a whooping cough epidemic, and we heard nothing about it. We were ultra careful parents. We loved her so much, and we wanted to do something to honour her memory. And we decided to do something. We decided to do media, which was a big eye-opener for us, and then we started reading all these silly blogs and all sorts of things. And we went to a Channel 7 debate after we'd done an interview and we thought we'd done the right thing. And we realised we were surrounded by friends, an army of people who wanted to help us. We're humbled by the Thornett Award, named after such a wonderful man. You can tell just what a great bloke he would be, because you just have to speak to his wife and realise how special he would have been, because she's special. We're proud to be associated with the Australian Skeptics, and really, it's just a wonder to have you as friends. We're just trying to do the sensible thing, make people aware of dangers of disease, how important vaccination is to prevent it. It's not rocket science, is it? Hopefully somewhere Fred and Dana are smiling down on us tonight. That's the way we see it. We thank the Australian Skeptics for all your tireless work and support and continued support. We look forward to meeting you all later on and passing on our goodwill. Thanks to all those people that you know have helped us. The ads, the website that you've started, Christine Bain, the internet campaign that you guys have got going. We just hope that the government actually start to work on the promises that they've made to take some of the weight off you people, and you can get on with the lives and the good work that you do in other areas of your lives. Thanks.
I couldn't let Dave have the whole. Just following on from everything else Dave said, look, we were just in complete shock how suddenly you can have a healthy baby and then seeing what she went through and how she suffered, and just we had 15 medical staff trying to save her and in conference with people all around the world, and there was nothing that could be done. But nothing shocked us more, I guess, than when we saw the reaction after she died, and we started seeing the national media and reading the newspapers, and it was then that we thought, well, she fought and she suffered so much, we had to speak up for her, and we will continue to speak up for her. But we wouldn't be able to speak up for her and continue to do so without the support of you all. I clearly remember after the first Sunday night episode aired, it was a very surreal experience, and I thought, the whole Facebook thing and that all only came about because my sister works in internet advertising, so anyone I knew was just doing something to help. So I went on the Facebook just to see what some of the reaction would be, and I did a Google of Dana's name, and I came across this Skeptics book of poo-poo, this woman called Maggie, and I read her blog, and I went, okay, that seemed quite supportive. And then I went on the Facebook, and I saw this man in rainbow braces called Richard, and this message that said, you've done the right thing, and Dr. Phil Platt in the US is behind you. And I just turned to David and went, it's getting really strange. But you've been such a blessing to us, because at a time when we were just struggling with losing Dana, but then also struggling with the lunacy and the vitriol out there, in a way you've been able to help us pick ourselves up, move forward and learn to live this new life that's been thrust upon us. And we wouldn't be able to do that without the support of a lot of important people in this room. Dr. Rachel Dunlop, we're eternally grateful for everything you have done. Pete Bowditch, Richard Saunders, who's not here tonight, Daniel Raphael. We regularly get little emails from Daniel just from time to time, and it's been so wonderful. And then the thousands of others that, didn't even have a Facebook profile before this. Dana's got 34,000 friends, and then the Stop the ABN has about 1,000 people. Dave Singer as well, for all your lovely messages that are on there. And then people that have just come out of the blue, like Ken McLeod and Repeat Tim, and all these people that we at a most devastating time, just knowing that people are out there. But so I guess what we're saying is, we very graciously accept this award, but we wouldn't be able to promote Reason if it wasn't for everything that you do. And so sincerely thank you. And what I wanted to say to finish was that what we're doing is we've been in contact with Professor Peter McIntyre, you might have seen on the programs. He works at the Children's Hospital at Westmead. We're going to donate money. They're starting a study in the next few weeks. They're looking at the possible link between strengthening mothers' antibodies, and hopefully that will help children that do get pertussis fight it. So we think it's going to a pretty worthy cause, and we're also going to be working with the Children's Hospital Westmead on some education videos, and we will be keeping the government to account on their promises too.
And so, finally, it was time to go home from Skepticon. Fantastic event. A big thank you to Margaret Kitson and the Queensland Skeptics for putting it all together. The next time we'll be meeting in Australia, well, TAM Australia in Sydney. Florida. Beautiful, sun-kissed Florida. Now, those people in southwest Florida, you might be interested to know about a new group called the Sun Coast Skeptics. You can find out about them at meetup.com/suncoastskeptics. Check it out. Their first Skeptics in the pub will be on the 8th of January. Boy, if I had a few $1,000s lying around, I'd certainly fly over and go down to Skeptics in the pub in Florida. But I can't, so you go for me. meetup.com/suncoastskeptics.
Join us now for Drinking Skeptically in the Think Tank.
Oh, that's taking your life in your hands, Richard.
Just pop it in. Okay. Here we go.
And welcome to the Brisbane Think Tank. Now, when I asked the gathered crowd here to be nice and loud, I didn't mean to be deafening.
Sorry, Richard.
That's quite all right. Look, joining me on the Brisbane Think Tank is a whole room full of delegates here at the Brisbane Convention, including the Skeptic Zone's very own Kylie Sturgess.
Hello, Richard. It's wonderful to be here.
And making a welcome return, it's Dave the Happy Singer.
Hello, Richard.
Hey.
Woo! Yay, Dave.
And lots of other people. You can say hello, introduce yourself when you talk if you wish, or you can remain unknown to the great unwashed out there. What an interesting convention it's been so far. I think we've been lurching from air-conditioned room to air-conditioned room. But in some late-breaking news, now those of you who listened to the podcast earlier on probably realise that the Ben Spoon Award went to Merrill Dory and the Australian Vaccination Network this year. But we've just heard that there's been some comment from the Vaccination Network. Is that right, Dave?
That's right, Richard. Just as we start to record this session, the Australian Vaccination Network have put out a press release about Merrill Dory's winning of the Bent Spoon Award. So if you guys don't mind, I just want to read out this fantastic press release. This is dated Sunday, November 29th, for immediate release. Merrill Dory, President of the Australian Vaccination Network, AVN, Australia's vaccine safety watchdog, is very proud to have won the Australian Skeptics Bent for 2009. She joins such prestigious former winners as Dr. Kerrin Phelps, 2008, former head of the Australian Medical Association, Every pharmacist in Australia, 2006, who won because they chose to offer their customers the option to purchase vitamins, minerals, and other nutritional supplements in store.
Oh, yeah.
Journalist Mike Willesee, 1999, and vaccine safety researcher Dr. Vera Scheibner, to 1997. Ms. Dorey took the prize despite some formidable competition from the likes of News Limited, Senator Stephen Fielding, philosophy and bioethics writer Peter Singer, and the University of Queensland, all of whom were also nominated. I am very grateful for the recognition of an organisation such as the Skeptics, says Ms. Dorey. It will inspire me to try even harder to continue promoting the message of free, informed and scientifically based health choice. For those who have never heard of it, the Australian Skeptics is an organisation whose religious belief is that anything Western medicine approves of is always right, and anyone who questions the safety or efficacy of drugs, vaccines or surgery is always wrong. They hide behind terms such as pseudoscience, despite being offered copious quantities of peer-reviewed research to show that not every medical procedure is safe, not every drug or vaccine is effective. Much like the medieval church, their main tactics are to ridicule and try to silence anyone who speaks out against their blind beliefs. I could almost wish that an honorary membership of the Skeptics came along with the award. But then again, I don't feel that I have the necessary unquestioning, single-minded zealotry such membership. Ms. Dorey concluded.
That is excellent. For the first half of that, I really thought for the first time in Australian Skeptics history, we had a Bent Spoon Award winner who didn't realise that it was meant to be an insult. And it finally trickled through.
Oh, dearie me, what an interesting comment from Meryl Dorey. It reminds me of a similar approach taken by Second Opinion, the ABC show, who were showcasing various absolutely absurd quackery medicine a couple of years ago. And they said, yes, we accept the bent spoon in the humour in which it's given. No, it's not given in bloody humour. That time, all this time, it was given as a kick up the bum, you know.
I think what a lot of outsiders don't realise is that although skeptics enjoy humour, we like being funny, we like laughing. What we're actually about is deadly serious. And contrary to what that press release says, no, we don't accept that all medicine is good, all medicine is right, and the medical establishment is right. But the fact is that there are rigorous testing procedures for medicine and for other medical and surgical procedures. And those things ought to be taken seriously and used appropriately and with judgment. And this woman doesn't appear to understand that.
No, she doesn't understand it at all, especially when she is one of the crowd running around trying to support homeopathy, which is scientifically absurd.
Yes.
And they won't come near us for our challenge. Hello, Meryl, we're waiting. You can prove homeopathy works. You get $100,000 of our money. You could rub that in, couldn't you, Meryl?
Leave us poorer and leave us humiliated.
Yes.
Take up the challenge.
It's right here. No, it's very sad. But, hey, I'm glad she acknowledged it and responded. What the hell?
Well, she hasn't even got it yet.
Well, you were planning on dropping it on her back from a plane at one point.
Yeah,
the joke
flying over her home, and here it is. But, no, we actually don't send them anything as far as I know.
I think we ought to send them a certificate with a bent spoon on it.
I think
and meanwhile, like the ashes, the actual bent spoon stays in a safe cabinet somewhere, but they get a certificate to testify to their glorious achievements.
Well, so it's interesting because in years gone past winners have simply not even acknowledged the fact that they even knew about it or heard about it or anything.
It's probably the most sensible thing to do.
Well, it is, but it just shows that someone like Meryl just can't help herself.
But it shows that she is very media savvy and she's putting spin on things, she's using humour, and she is fighting us back with a weapon that we're trying to use against her.
So will this now be an opportunity for the Australian Skeptics to respond in kind by saying, this is not a joke, and then tallying through some of the certain points that are going through, or will it just become a tit-for-tat sort of thing where it just becomes...
Hard to say. I think anybody with half a brain will realise it's not a joke, and what Meryl was saying is just ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's not exactly her target audience, is people with half a brain. If you do the tit-for-tat sort of thing, she's a true believer, so I don't think you're going to change your mind.
But they're very good with the media. I must say, the AVN are very good. That's why they keep getting on TV shows, because, well, first and foremost, the name is deceptive, the Australian Vaccination Network, and we're so nice and friendly, and we just want pro-choice, and everyone should be informed, which sounds really great, you know? That sounds like the ideal.
Well, we should change the name of the Skeptics or create a parallel group called the Australian Believers Association.
But that could be truly umbrella. It could accept anybody on
We
anything.
call ourselves the true Australian homeopaths. How about that?
Oh, no, not...
You have to be like the medieval church, of course.
Yes. The true Australian homeopaths, unlike the Homeopathic True Association of Australia. Splitters! Splitters, the law of them. Splitters!
But this claim to be supporting free communication and free information is just not borne out by her actual behaviour.
Yeah.
I mean, not only has she, taken the Facebook page down and made that a secret navel-gazing echo chamber, but they've also, just recently, the big mailing list, which had 800 members, has now been purged completely with the request that everybody sign up again, because she was worried that some skeptics might have got on and read what they were speaking about in their unconscionable circle jerk. So.
Well, it surprises me, and Rachel Dunlop, when she was awarding the Ben Spoon, alluded to some of this, that the mainstream media simply ignore all their loony conspiracy theories that Meryl and her friends subscribe to, like the Illuminati and the One World Government.
David Icke had some of his content.
The Lizard Man. The Lizard People.
Man himself. Read John Lonson's book, Them, and you'll find out more about some of his more really bizarre
Maybe
claims.
They are them.
But they are them.
They're them.
They could be. Meryl Dorey is a lizard. You heard it here first. On the think tank. Thank you,
Well,
Skeptics.
that's interesting. Oh, well, the battle goes on. We're not giving up, Meryl. Apart from that, what a great convention it's been. We had a fantastic day yesterday, and I think last night's dinner was the most memorable of all the Skeptics dinners I've been to at these occasions, where we announced TAM Australia. Yeah. Oh boy, there's a lot of work coming up.
Oh, Richard,
I'm glad you're so ready to do it all, Richard.
Oh yes,
we're here to support you, Richard.
Oh yes. And of course, after that was that was the Ben Spoon. After that, Meryl Dorey, and the awarding of the first Fred Thornett Prize for Reason to David and Tony McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But just what a great night it was.
It was such an honour to be able to meet in person David and Tony McCaffrey, who came to the dinner, and I noticed quite a lot of people grabbed the opportunity to go up to them, shake their hands, and say thank you so much for putting so much of your personal life and what was a dreadful experience, and yet still working forwards for the good of all their community.
It's a strange coincidence that both Dana McCaffrey and Fred Thornett died not too far away from each other, as in time. I think within the same month or something like that, earlier this year. So, but there you go. So that was very moving indeed, and I think the Fred, as it'll be known, will be an annual prize by Australian Skeptics. Now, we just a lot of comment, and people have been commenting to me just now. We had a very interesting talk about the dangers of fructose, and our speaker got quite a lot of heated questions and comments after his talk. What do we think? The main comment coming back to me was this man was peddling a book without the scientific credentials to back it up.
Okay, I've got a view on this, if I may.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist, and I'm not a scientist in that particular area. I don't know whether there was any scientist in that area, in that convention hall, that could evaluate it. But the fact is, what we had was somebody who was essentially putting forward a very controversial scientific theory to an audience that couldn't evaluate it.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's completely inappropriate, and therefore I think the organisers made a mistake, and I've already told them so. I think it's inappropriate to have that kind of thing. That sort of thing should go to proper scientists who understand what the heck he's talking about and are then able to say it's a load of garbage, or yes, it's right, or it's speculative, but it might be right.
Yeah.
As it is, I think that a mistake was made in the organisation.
I sort of agree with you, because I was watching it and I'm thinking, is he wrong? Do I know this? No, I don't. I haven't got a clue if he's wrong or not.
Exactly.
And he might be hit onto an interesting point here, or he might be completely off the mark. Or who are we to judge? It sort of reminds me a bit of the climate debate.
Yeah, same
that
kind
was
of thing.
In Adelaide, wasn't it? And there was a few sessions on climate change debate in Tasmania as well, in Hobart at the conference there. And that caused a lot of discussion. And now I believe that climate change debate has pretty much been moved off the Skeptic convention circuit.
Yeah, well, a lot of people were fed up with it. You know, hearing yet another talk about climate change and who are the skeptics and what's happening with global warming, there's a tolerance level, and you hear so much of it, and again, you don't know what's right and what's wrong. How do I know if Ian Plimer's off the barking mad or he's got the right point? I'm not qualified in this sort of thing.
In comparison, however, we had Dr. Chrissy Wilson just beforehand, and everybody was getting into that lecture because everybody was seeing for themselves a lot of material which a lot of us have been subject to before about the psychology of belief, understanding that there are a variety of factors and that it's not the opportunity, just as she said herself, to say, oh, that Storm woman who's turned up at the dinner party that Tim Minchin has turned up to, she's just a flake, she can just be dismissed. You have to step back and take a meta look at it and say, well, what are the factors that are involved here? Because I may be talking to a lovely, intelligent, bubbly, creative person who just happens to say, I run a lovely little herbal shop and you should check out some of my homeopathic treatments. So can you just easily say, right, that's it, red wine in the face, or glass of fructose in the face, as I've got here. Yeah.
But I think maybe the difference between the two presentations was that Dr. Chrissy based hers on a lot of primary research that she did herself, while the one on fructose was more, it was couched in terms of marketing, and that's, I think, what sort of, it seemed like it was marketing. It wasn't research-based, it sounded like a marketing pitch or a book.
He claims to have based all of that on 3,000 academic papers, or of some of the 3,000 academic papers, and they support his evidence. He says that there's no one who will publish his work because it's already being published. He's repeating fact. And not being an expert, I don't know whether he's talking the truth or not, and that's where I think the organisation let us down. They didn't have an expert there on the stage to discuss it, because we were all going, you're a quack, and that we were playing right into that stereotype of a skeptic, that we would just say no, bad, when really what he was saying, sugar makes you fat. I know that already because I'm fat, but he was just trying to say sugar makes you fat, diabetic, cancerous and heart disease.
I should point out that on a podcast, nobody is fat. Everybody here is beautiful, slim, swell, and no one has a beard. Shamash.
By the way, can I quickly comment on that last point? Yeah. Sorry, I'm taking up too much of the airwaves, I know. In science, you don't just publish original research papers. I did this experiment, these were the results, here's the implications. It is also perfectly acceptable to publish review papers. I have read 700 papers on this topic. Here is what the evidence seems to indicate. Now, that is perfectly acceptable within science, and if this bloke had a good scientific case, he could write it up in the form of a paper like that, and my guess is that a journal would probably take it.
He claims that he will do that if we can give him the advice that would allow him to, that he could submit it to, and so we should facilitate that.
Possibly so, but I'm surprised he hasn't done it before too.
Yes,
he's asking us, some skeptics convention in Brisbane.
He's got a father-in-law who's a scientist, and he can't say BMJ, Australian Medical Journal, Journal of the American Medical Association.
Dr. Raichi stepped up to the plate and said, no worries, talk to me during lunchtime. I'll be there, I can give you stuff. So this has been, in that way, a good conference to be able to network in that regard. So.
Although I did get one comment, I heard Dr. Chrissy Wilson being congratulated by a skeptic outside the food hall, and he said to her, congratulations on your excellent paper, it should have been twice as long.
Oh. That sort of thing that Chrissy does, apart from being an interesting talk, she's also very entertaining. And I really appreciate entertaining speakers. I mean, there's one thing to stand up behind the lectern and just present a paper or whatever, but you go around the stage and you have funny slides and you get people laughing and everything like that. I think it really aids in conveying your point, apart from anything else.
And maybe she's come from the Richard Wiseman school of presentation, because very similar presentation.
She's a former actor who once played a prostitute on the bill.
Well, was it all a lie?
Well, she was also a airline hostess, so I guess making people comfortable and getting them into the... Guess what? We're in for a rocky ride, people, so hang on tight.
Don't take any notice of those oxygen masks. It's okay. It's all okay.
Well, we have to sadly wrap this up, this rather abbreviated Brisbane think tank, because we all have to rush back for the next presentation, which starts in about 5 minutes. But I'd like to thank all the skeptics who have gathered here to join us in the think tank and disrupting their lunch. They got their lunch on their laps, some of them at the moment. And there's a whole lot of what I call cowards right in the back of the room.
Oh, we love you people in the back.
Who had the opportunity to say something that, I can't talk on.
Can members of the Young Australian Skeptics give us a shout out? Come on, you guys. You've been really proactive at this conference in terms of putting out videos and putting out your flyers and the badges and so forth. So come on, give us a shout out.
Hello. Hello.
Boys, come on.
Yeah, okay.
Come on, do what DaveTheHappySinger.com does. And pimp your stuff.
You've done it for him.
That's the idea.
Also in the back of the room we've got think tank regular Diane. Hello, Diane.
Hello, Richard.
There you are, you see, just to prove that she's here. Well, thank you once again, everybody. I love doing these think tanks on the road, so to speak. Normally we have a couple of beers or a champagne or something with us, but it doesn't matter.
And on the road we need 2 camels and a box of ducks.
And a box of ducks, and I think we'll all have to rush out now, grab some fruit juice, and head back to the convention. But
watch out for the elephant in the room.
Oh, that elephant! You're such a pretty elephant.
Are you being personal about me, sir?
Never mention it.
So from Brisbane in sunny and hot Queensland in Australia, it's goodbye from the think tank.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And I'm Andrew from the Nonsense Podcast.
Bringing you a skeptical overview of news, religion, and all forms of pseudoscience.
We're defending science and reason against the onslaught of medical and spiritual nonsense.
All week, we are busy researching and debunking pseudoscience. But on the 7th day, we listen to the Skeptic Zone.
Check us out at nonsenspodcast.libsyn.com or search for the Nonsense Podcast on iTunes.
So, Richard, what do you think of Brisbane?
Brisbane was fantastic. It was pretty hot, though. I mean, it was steamy hot, but at least the rooms were air-conditioned.
Yeah, it does get very warm up there in Queensland. I'd almost live there for the everything else except the climate. It's really warm. But it's becoming a bit of a cosmopolitan city too. I used to live there back in the 80s, and it was a real sleepy, country town. It's now quite...
it's changed. It's changed a lot.
There.
Yeah, I remember it from the 70s and the 80s when we used to live near there, and it was always, I thought it was I saw Star Wars there, in fact, when I was a little kid. We went on a special trip to Brisbane to see Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah.
They actually had a movie theatre there.
They did.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Yeah, and it's just become this great big sort of international city.
It is. And, look, I love Brisbane. Brisbane's fantastic, but the city in question, the city of the hour, the city of the year next year will be Sydney. For TAM Australia.
That's right.
And
November the 26th?
November the 26th to the 28th. And I want to put out a big plea. Everybody can sort of help us. We're flying in all sorts of people, including James Randi, Phil Plait, Brian Dunning, George Harab, Carl Kulsoniski's going to be here. Lots more names on the way, including the whole cast of the Skeptics Guide to the Universe, our good friends at the Skeptics Guide. But they sort of need our help. So if anybody would like to chip in and help get all 5 of them here, run to the Skeptics Guide to the Universe website, and there's a little donate button.
Make a little donation.
Let's all donate.
Every bit counts. I mean, we've got a few thousand listeners here, so maybe if they, $1 each.
$1 each, listeners, or something, or a bit more than that, because PayPal's a bit mean when you pay $1.
Oh, that's true.
If you feel
$100 each, then come on.
If you feel generous and you want to help the Skeptics Guide get to Australia, especially you Australian listeners, head over to their website and donate. But we'll be reminding you over the next year.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge event.
It's going to be big, Stefan. I hope you'll be there.
Oh, I am there. I think one of those days I've got something on, like a wedding or something, but I'll be in and out all through the whole weekend, so it's going to be huge. Now, next episode is episode 60.
60.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I have no idea what's on episode 60, but I know it'll be good.
You know it's number 60. That's all that counts. Yeah. Okay, Richard, I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Okay, Stefan. Bye for now.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Skeptic Zone. Visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for comments, contacts, and extra video reports.
The Skeptic Zone, a mirror